Stay for a couple of songs, but I'm telling you, once you settle in at Cliff Bell's, it's really hard to leave. It's the kind of experience and atmosphere that's almost impossible to find anymore. And you're not going to find this place anywhere else but Detroit, Michigan. When you think of Lansing, Michigan, what do you think about? Most of us think about the Capitol building, where state legislators work day in and day out to keep Michigan moving in the right direction. We also think about the great halls of justice like the Michigan Supreme Court, where people are protected and our rights are preserved. A lot of us think of the incredible state history preserved at the Michigan Historical Museum and State Library, and about how the graduates of Cooley Law School will shape our future. But if you haven't been to Lansing since that last field trip where you toured the state capitol, you're in for a big surprise. Lansing, Michigan is located smack dab in the middle of the Lower Peninsula at the crossroads of I-96, I-69, and Highway 127. Just east of the Capitol is Cooley Law School Stadium. It's home to the Lansing Lugnuts, a Class A ball team that brings a ton of big league excitement to downtown. The stadium is awesome and the games are a blast to go to. Lansing also has one of the largest river trails in the country. And there's a brand new city market that helps urban dwellers like me get their hands on a huge selection of fresh local foods. The Peanut Shop. The Peanut Shop is a downtown Lansing institution. At least that's what I call it. For 3/4 of a century, these roasters have sat in this very spot roasting nuts for a steady stream of hungry customers. The Peanut Shop has every nut imaginable, along with classic candies that are hard to find. My favorite thing about the Peanut Shop is that their sign is actually bigger than their whole store. But the reason I'm in Lansing today is to visit a place I've heard great things about. And it's just north of the Peanut Shop, in a place the locals call Old Town. Lansing's Old Town is teeming with young business, and that's what I love about Old Town areas. They attract young entrepreneurs and have a vibrant and exciting atmosphere all their own. It's kind of like where history collides with the present and creates the future. I finally found it, Elderly Instruments. Every time I mention Elderly to anybody who knows anything about music, their eyes light up. So today, me and my guitar are going to find out why. I just won't tell them I'm really a drummer. Once I got inside, I was absolutely overwhelmed. I have never seen so many stringed instruments before in my life. Everywhere I looked, different things with strings. And the policy here? Everything is okay to play. One thing I found out right away at Elderly is that you never know when a spontaneous musical interlude will just form, erupt, and fill the store. It's all part of the relaxed atmosphere here. After his fingers cooled down a bit, I had a chance to sit down with manager Keith Billick and find out what really makes Elderly different.
What is Elderly Instruments? What are you guys?
Well, our quip that we do is that we're the world's most trusted source for new, used, and vintage instruments. So we have, kind of the full lines, and it's just stringed instruments, I should say.
Okay.
We don't do keyboards or drums or saxophones or anything like that. So we got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, walk through some of the instruments you've got here. What are all the stringed instruments that you offer here?
Well, I might miss some, but we have all sorts of acoustic and electric guitars, lap steel guitars, dobros, which would kind of be one of these things, banjos, mandolins, ukuleles, violins, auto harps, hammered dulcimers, Appalachian dulcimers, all sorts of really off the beaten path stuff like bazookies, psalteries.
I thought bazooki was a motorcycle.
I thought it was a piece of artillery, but if it has strings, we'll take it. If someone walks in here with an Egyptian oud, we will take it and try to figure out what the heck it's worth and try to sell it for that amount.
I'm sure you have an international clientele.
Yes.
Any famous people? Any people we might know?
Plenty of famous people that you would know. Just since I work in the main showroom, the people who I've seen most recently walk, right in the door. Off the top of my head would be like Vince Gill, Ricky Skaggs, John Mayer, Lyle Lovett, Elliot Easton from the Cars. But that's just the first 5 I could think of.
Right.
But it really goes on and on and on from there.
Well, tell me a little bit about the staff here. It looks like you've got an expert for almost every stringed instrument here.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the toughest part, is that, you know, when you bill yourself as the most trusted source for that, no matter what the person is calling about, they expect you to be an expert at whatever it is they're about to ask you about. So you have, you know, the guy who wants to know what the perfect distortion pedal is for his specific thing, and then as soon as you hang up, that next person wants you to be an expert on recommending the best strings for their custom tuned 8-string electric bass.
Well, for me, I'm by trade a drummer. Don't hold that against me. But and I just play around on guitar a little bit. But when I talk, the past 3 weeks, when I've talked to people and mentioned this place, the passion that people have for this place, that's why I decided I had to come up here and see for myself. What does this place mean to, like, this specific community? Because I noticed you're in Old Town, which is a really cool old part of Lansing, Michigan.
Yep.
What does it mean to the community here?
Well, it's tough for me to get too much of an outsider's view. I mean, I probably didn't even have an appreciation for it until I maybe visited a few other music stores and kind of realized that it wasn't the same. As far as what it means to the community, I mean, it's certainly a destination spot. If you're one of these people who can spend $30,000 on a highly collectible guitar, it might be worth a $400 plane ticket for you to come here and actually see them in front of you, what you're looking at investing in. I would assume that a certain amount of that, you know, would contribute to the overall economy and the attraction of people to come here. I mean, I don't think
Keith had some business to attend to, so I wandered around the store and discovered their huge repair department. The process of carefully repairing and reassembling these valuable instruments was fascinating to watch. I also discovered the room where the rockers go. After getting a quick violin lesson,
Yeah, you've got the finger plays been actually down pretty well.
and a quick ukulele lesson, I decided it was, well, time to impress Keith and show him my personal guitar.
Beautiful sounding guitar. Now, I hope you don't mind. I took the liberty of bringing my personal guitar in for you to actually take a look at and maybe appraise for me.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
It's a family heirloom. This has been in the family for, gosh, probably 30 years, so I'm sure it's worth a lot. Why don't you take a look at it right there?
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Yep.
Well, it's a Voxton, which is kind of like a Husson Dalton.
Is that a French word, Voxton?
I don't think so.
Oh. What do you think that's worth? I know it's got some scratches on it and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, we'll want to get out the, you know, the microscopes to verify the vintage of the finish and everything. But I'm thinking for like $12.50, we could dispose of it for you.
If you play a stringed instrument,